Did you know that music might actually be helping you process emotions that you didn't even know you had? In part two of Music Education That Actually Works, Denzel and I are diving deeper into the emotional side of learning music and how it shapes not just what we know, but who we might become. In this episode, you're going to hear more from Denzel, who was one of our awesome piano teachers here at Piano and More. Denzel opens up about growing up and how emotions weren't really talked about or even shared in his family. But when he sat down to play music, something shifted, and he would want to express emotions within his music. He started feeling and playing emotions into his music, and he didn't even realize he was doing any of this until years later as an adult. And we'll share how we're trying to recreate that magic here at Piano and More through real world applications, community experiences, and programs that build more than just skills. I hope you enjoy this video, and by the end, you'll have a better understanding of how music education, when it's done right, can build confidence and emotional intelligence. We were so thrilled when you reached out to us and you're like, hey, I would love to come back and teach with us again. You were very much beloved at our studio and taught with us for a couple of years. So it's great to have you back. And I'm really curious, why are you a teacher? What got you started and what really made you decide this is going to be what I specialize in?
You know, I think that was a subconscious decision. I think after some reflecting, I realized I just wanted to be in a place to help motivate or guide other youth students to have something that I didn't necessarily have growing up, which is someone who's kind of just being present with me, helping me to be aware of me, aware of the world around me, not necessarily exposing me to anything too soon, but actually helping me deal with certain things in life. So yeah, I just wanted to be that extra push for students to grow and develop in themselves, not just in the learning, but also the whole child kind of method thing where you're helping kids deal with their circumstances that they're going through in life, whether it be, family dynamics or environments that they live in. That was the reason I kind of wanted to teach, because I felt like at least some of the teachers I had, there were some that were really good, but there were also some who were clearly just there for a check. And I didn't want I wanted to try and change that as much as I could for other students.
Yeah, I agree. When you said that about thinking back to teachers, and I can clearly see who was good
Mm-hmm.
and who wasn't because I remember the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the things they taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had this one teacher in grad school that taught the metabolism breakdown of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, and it's all chemistry, and I hated chemistry. So when I saw that class that I had to take this, and it was like the semester to take it, I was just so not looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was amazing. He
Yeah.
was such a good teacher. He added storytelling into chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to be really creative to do that. And he did it. He made it fun. He added like interactive games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he gave stories, like real case study examples of research that he had done. And I still think about that
Mm-hmm.
class. I still remember some
Yeah.
of those things that he said,
Yeah.
and it's a lasting impact.
I have a similar. I have ironically, my music teacher, my band teacher, he was that teacher for me as well. Someone you remember for the rest of your life. But the crazy thing is, he didn't necessarily do anything special, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Mm.
I think it was just his presence. You could tell he was tuned in to the students, even on a large scale, but also individually. He was like, "Yeah, I see you. If you're here, if you want to make this a serious thing, I see you. I'm here to help you." And he
Mhm.
made that pretty clear, just in his actions and his demeanor. Almost, it was kind of just who he was. So the fact that he was able to inspire me in the same way, without necessarily doing much. Uh, it, it just speaks, a lot. It speaks volumes to just the kind of impact you can have on a student's life, which is hopefully something I feel like I could do at some point.
I think you already are. But yeah, that's really interesting. What kind of demeanor did he have?
Well, I mean, he was funny. He was funny. I mean, it wasn't the humor, but he was funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just there's something about, you can tell that he was present with you.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't just doing it just for the money, or just for, because he has nothing else or better to do. He really cared. He cared about us. He really cared about music.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely was strict at times. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. He held us accountable for everything we were doing and made us work.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell it was coming from a place of care, of concern, of like, hey, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
just doing this for me. I'm doing this for you, and it stuck with me. I don't know how to capture his demeanor in like in a phrase, but I don't know. He cared, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think you explained it really well. I
Yeah.
got a really good image of what he probably was like when you
Hmm.
explained that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that is qualities of a great teacher.
For sure. And qualities I hope to mimic at some point, or even naturally just be similar to my
Yeah,
band teacher.
same here.
Yeah. So you talked about all these benefits for everybody else, but why do you play an instrument?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, thank you, Mom. I should start off with saying thank you to my mom
Hmm.
for really pushing me to learn because it did end up benefiting me a lot. And when I look back, it's really interesting to see the different ways it's benefited me. Like as a teenager, it was more of releasing my emotions. Like I would get frustrated. I didn't get to have things done my way or whatever, or I didn't get to go to this party with my friends. And so it would be a way to release my unhappy emotions. I also started writing my own music, so I got to explore the creative side of me. And I think that part really grew into my 20s. Kind of like my student, when I was overwhelmed with homework, I would start writing music, and it was a nice way to kind of just take a break from the world and all the responsibilities of the world. So I would tap into a little bit more to my creative side. And then as I got older and started looking into building a business and really sharpening that other side of my brain, um, I became interested in like testing the boundaries of my music knowledge. So I started reading books about music theory. I started just saying like, can I increase the tempo on this song? Like, and I would kind of just test my intelligence, I guess you could say. And now I'm really trying to become more of a social performer and build that social aspect of music because I'm not a natural performer. I'm a little bit timid. And so this is something I just find so fascinating. I can see how magical music is whenever you share it with other people. And so I would love to be able to just sit at a piano and just have people sing along or play along, and I'm not stressed. That would be really nice. So, yeah, it's just been interesting to see how music has benefited me throughout my life. I'm curious, what about you? How has music benefited you?
Music has benefited me in quite a few different ways. So I think what was happening for me as a kid in my teens, and maybe even before then, I tend to kind of disconnect as a kid growing up. I don't even think emotions were regularly shown to me or displayed to me, so I didn't know how to express emotions, or that I even had different emotions that, you know, meant anything. So what happened for me is when I would hear a song, um, I would try to recreate or reproduce the emotion that the artist was sharing, whether that be a trumpet player, because that's what I grew up starting on trumpet. If I hear like Herbie Hancock or what's the guy's name? That's what I get for trying to name drop. Um, Louis Armstrong. When you hear that expression, that you're like, ah, that's nice. I don't have that. Where is that coming from? So then I would try and recreate it, and I realized I really like that. It also happened when I started to try and play piano. I never wanted to do piano lessons, so I tried to teach myself by ear. And what inspired me to play it by ear was, again, there was this song with this beautiful piano part. It's called Love Is You by Chrisette Michele. First song I ever taught myself how to play by ear. So when I'm playing that song, I just got caught up in the expression, not even of the words, because I guarantee you I didn't know what she was saying back then, but listening to that piano piece kind of accompanied what she was feeling. I understood it in a way that I've never even understood emotions before. I caught it. And so I learned that song, and I don't play it exactly how it's played. It's pretty close, but what I pick up on is the expression that is behind it. And so I used to love. I even still play it now. If I go to a piano, that's probably one of the first things I'll fiddle around with if I'm warming up or something. It's just it meant a lot to me, and it's not something I even knew was happening then. It's something I just realized maybe a day or two ago when thinking about this question. Is just it helped me connect to emotions that I didn't even know I had. And I think it served as that outlet for me back then. Similar to how you said it was an expression or a way to express emotions. It definitely did that for me, and I think that's why I continued to play piano because that was the only place I was able to express that. That was the only place I was able to have language that I or a skill that I didn't have, verbally. I didn't have the ability to communicate and express emotions, but I could play it and you could understand it. I didn't have to use words. I didn't have to use syntax. I didn't have to use grammar. I was just able to play. And no matter if you spoke English, you understood what I was doing. Didn't have to understand exactly the words, but you knew it. You knew the feeling, the emotion behind it. So that's why it was a huge benefit to me growing up. And even now, I realize after writing a couple of songs that I haven't released yet, but I've written some songs that I think subconsciously I was writing something that I was going through. It wasn't intentional, but it was like an insecurity that I was having. It was a place where I just felt bad about, and I was writing kind of like some type of victory over that thing without realizing it. It was like a reassurance to myself that everything's okay. This thing is good. You're fine. And when I realized it one day, as I was explaining the song to someone, I broke down in a way that I didn't expect. They didn't expect. But I finally got it. It clicked. Oh, this is why I wrote that song. I was again 10, 20 years later, this is in my 30s, which I'm 30, 31 now. But my point is, years later, it's still doing the same thing. I don't even realize it. I'm expressing emotions that are buried in me that I don't even know exist until I'm like analyzing it. So it's just been a good place of like reflection or journaling or just really getting to know myself through music. So that's some of the benefits it's had with me. It's helped me to be more emotionally intelligent. It's helped me to see myself and be more aware of how I really feel.
That was really beautiful. I like how you said that it's almost like journaling,
Mhm.
and it's an indirect way. It's just amazing how, yeah, there's multiple ways that we communicate, and it's just assumed that we're grown up thinking there's only one way. It's
Mhm.
to use words. But emotions are complicated. They're really complicated. And how many adults do you actually know that can like feel an emotion and they just identify it?
Mhm.
That's a skill set. And we're not really taught how to do that, right?
Mm-mm. No, we usually are pushed in there to figure it out, and we mess up, and we end
Yeah.
up, ruining relationships because we didn't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it helps for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to have music there for you where you're you might be confused or you're not sure why you're feeling this way because, again, emotions can be scary and I don't want to face this right now, so I'm just going to tuck it away, put it under the rug. And when you play a song, that emotion now has some freedom to kind of be released because you're allowing yourself to open up, right? And it is a really beautiful thing to be able to do that indirectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. No, I like to think of it. There's, I guess, a lot of talk about your inner child lately. I think it's a very unique and interesting way to connect to your inner child. If you just like think about what do you like music wise? What do you like to listen to? Why do you like it? What do you like to play if you are learning an instrument? And pay attention to that because I think you start to discover parts of yourself or your inner child that you never noticed or addressed. And I think it just helps you to paint this larger picture of who you really are instead of who you were taught you are, I guess. But yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits to figuring out yourself in a world that doesn't really allow that or teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does piano and more stand out to you?
I probably shared a little bit about this during the second interview when I came back, but I think the main thing, or one of the big things that stands out to me at Piano More, is not necessarily about the engagement between teachers and students. It's actually how the teachers are treated. I felt very welcomed coming in and supported in a significant way, which is actually why I came back. Um, I just felt, like a part of something good. I felt appreciated. I felt valued. And I think that is also felt by some of the other teachers that are here because I think that's what kind of has probably kept you going strong is the well-being of the teachers, their ability to, because I think it affects how they, teach, how they perform, how they handle their engagement with their students as well as how they feel about being in this company. So P&M stands out in one huge way just by how the teachers are treated, how they're cared for.
That's great to hear because there is a lot of care. There's so much care put into it. And I'm a teacher myself. Like, this is how it started. So I know the struggles we go through. I know how hard it can be, how lonely it can be sometimes being a in-home, like, private teacher too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really important to make sure we expand in these areas where you can kind of feel lonely or low. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. What about you? How does P&M stand out to you?
Something that I think really makes us stand out, like, is through our events. We have recitals, of course. This is the traditional stage light, really nice piano. You dress up, and most studios do that. You have like recital performances, but not everybody is ready for such a grand performance. It can be quite nerve-wracking, and I actually struggled with this growing up, and I still do. I still have some performance anxiety. So we have incorporated different events where it's a little bit more casual, low stress environment. We'll do performances in restaurants, and we call them open mics. So that way people are eating, they're all having conversations. Not every single eye in that place is going to be on you. It's not going to be dead quiet. And so that kind of helps a lot of our first time performers or nervous performers. They can kind of work their way up to a recital by playing at an open mic. And then something that I really covet, like, I wish I had this growing up. Like, my mind would have been blown if I had been able to go on a field trip to a recording music studio and to record my own music, be able to see a music engineer play with my own music on the screen and show me how they like cut, edit it, filter it out, add these unique sound bites into it and stuff like that. And then to be able to walk out with my own MP3 recording,
Mhm.
like, wow, I think is such an amazing experience. So, yeah, we do experiences like that where you get to see what it's like to be a musician in the real world. We'll take you to a recording studio, we'll take you to the Kennedy Center. You'll get to be exposed to classical music. That's also designed for young audiences. So, yeah, we offer more than just lessons and recitals.
So, where can people find you if they want to learn more, if they want to get involved in piano more?
We do have a website. It's called pianoandmore.org. And we have all the social medias, so Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We are definitely putting a lot more content out this year. So follow us, subscribe. And if you want to get in touch, if you do live in Arlington, McLean, and Falls Church, and you would like to have an in home teacher, you can go to our website and literally look at the schedules of our teachers. You can book a teacher, book a trial lesson. They start as low as $35. So you can go that route, or you can call us, email us, and you'll talk to a lesson coordinator, and we can kind of go through either yourself, what you're looking for, or maybe you have a son or daughter that wants to learn. So we'll help you match certain teachers to students and figure out what is going to be a good match. And if you're just wondering, you're not sure if this is for you, or you're just curious, like, how would music benefit me specifically? We do have a quiz. It's called What is Your Musical Superpower? And it's really easy. It's like 25 questions, yes or no, multiple choice. So you don't have to think too hard, don't worry. But it will just show you your top 3 ways, the areas of your life that would truly benefit from being a musician and playing an instrument. So, what do you think? Did Denzel's story resonate with you? Do you also feel like you can look back and see how music has a way of touching parts of us that we don't even realize are there? Whether you're a parent, a teacher, or a musician yourself, let this be a reminder that music is meant to enhance your life. I hope this conversation inspires more people to become music educators that create happy musicians. You are much needed and so important. If you're curious to see what music can unlock in you or in your child, we've created a free quiz that reveals what your personal superpower is. You can take the quiz right on our website. The link is right in the description. Thanks for watching, and keep the music going.